So, Joe, every time obviously we start an interview, we ask this question to everybody. If you could sum your career up so far in one word, how would you describe it?
So far, fulfilling. I think back to when I was 15, 16 years old and I first discovered independent wrestling and everything that I was watching then, and kind of my favorite people at the time then, I'm doing now. So it's a pretty fulfilling feeling, yeah.
So, I mean, Jordan, it's not every day we get to talk to a RevPro champion, right?
Very
Uh-huh,
true.
yeah.
Very, very true.
Oh, dear.
What was
Jordan
it
was
like winning that, Joe?
Um, that was an unreal experience. It was definitely my favorite one-on-one match I've had so far in my career. And you know what a match to pick, right? Um, Live in London, 102. Me and Nino Bryan. Nino is someone that I've wrestled for years. I think we first wrestled each other all the way back in 2018 or 19. So we've both come a long way. So to have that match together was really special for me, and to win the title, even more beautiful. And my parents were actually at that show, so that was cool to do it in front of them. Main event as well. So yeah, a really special moment for me.
Awesome, man. I mean, unreal moment. RevPro is one of the top independent companies in the UK. I
In
mean,
Europe.
you've had, well, yeah, in Europe as well. I mean, you've been very fortunate to compete at RevPro and Progress. What would you say the difference is?
Um, I'd say RevPro is definitely a lot more competitive, and I think that's why they've managed, especially in more recent years, to kind of, you know, rise a lot higher. If you look at the stuff that RevPro are doing, they're running shows all across Europe. They've got a feature spot on the WXW 16 Carat weekend, and I think it's really competitive. Progress kind of like to bring in a lot of different talents, whereas RevPro they have a pretty set roster, and we're all competing, for a top spot there. So to be a champion in RevPro in 2026, it's a pretty good feeling.
Awesome, man. Over to you, Liam.
Absolutely. So I'm going to follow on obviously what he said there. Is it the same approach to a RevPro show and a Progress show, or is it like different?
Um, Again, I think because of how competitive RevPro is, there's a lot more pressure going into a RevPro show because you want to impress the boss, you want to impress the fans, because everyone's competing for that top spot. So I'd say there's more pressure going into um, a RevPro show for sure.
Okay. Wombeezy, back to you, bro.
So obviously, I've seen one of my favorite matches of yours, and I think Liam will probably agree with me, is the one that you had at Progress with Will Ospreay.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, yeah.
First of all, like being in the ring with Will and probably learning from Will.
hmm
What was that like?
it comes back to what I said at the start, fulfilling. Um, when I first discovered independent wrestling, Will was one of the first guys that I discovered, and certainly the first guy I really gravitated towards. A huge influence on myself and many other people my age on the scene, especially in England. So to set foot in the ring with him, and it wasn't, it was only a few years before that where I was paying to go to the Electric Ballroom to watch Will Ospreay wrestle. So to wrestle him in the Electric Ballroom for Progress was, yeah, a crazy fulfilling moment, something I'll never forget because he is like my top guy.
Definitely, man. Over to you, Liam.
Mm.
I want to talk about CPF. How did that all come about?
Well, CPF, the close personal friends, is exactly what it says. We are close personal friends. Um, I think it came about. We really bonded over the lockdown period. We were in a group chat anyway. We're in a bigger group chat, and it kind of split off into us four. Myself, Danny Black, Maverick Mayhew, Callum Newman. Um, and yeah, we had a lot of free time on our hands over lockdown, so we'd call every day. If we were going through stuff, we'd speak openly, and we just became really, really close. So when the world opened up again, and Danny was doing bits of progress, he asked to get us boys in, and then it only felt right after that four-way match we had. you know, to work together as a team, as you know, the close personal friends.
Okay. What brings about to you, bro?
I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, Joe. You was born in America,
Hmm.
but then made your way over to the UK.
Yeah.
How did that come about? Like you come into the UK and then I've seen your TikToks. You was a schoolless teacher assistant. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct.
And then you quit your job to become a professional wrestler full time. I think 2020.
Started last year.
Oh yeah, start last year.
Yeah. Yeah, that's correct. My parents both British, born and raised in England. Um, my dad took a decent job out in the States. Um, they had me out there, and then they came back because they didn't want me going to school out there. Probably a smart choice. So I've been in England since like 2001. So I was like 1 year old at the time. So I can't remember any of my time in the States, but I have the dual citizenship, both the passports to prove it. Um, and yeah, back in 2016 is when I started both training to be a wrestler and working in a school as a TA. I did the TA stuff for about 8 years. And yeah, at the end of 2024, so start of 2025, I stopped my teaching assistant stuff to go full time with professional wrestling. Yeah.
Awesome, man.
Mhm.
Awesome.
Thank
I'm
you.
feeling.
So, looking obviously through all your cage match and everything, I mean, you've got to travel the world. I mean, I've lost count how many countries you've managed to travel to. What's that like?
15. And I only know that because I have a notes section in my phone where I just log and track everything that I've done in wrestling from the start. So I'm in Canada currently in Vaughn Vertigo's basement, as you can see the Vaughn Vertigo artwork behind me.
Love it.
Um, so I just recently filled out the notes that Canada's my 15th country that I've performed in. And yeah, man, wrestling's taken me all over the world. I think I've done 3 continents at this point, 15 countries. I've been fortunate enough to wrestle in Japan a few times actually. Um, yeah, I'm getting paid to travel the world. I'm really living my best life.
Fulfilling a dream, right?
Hmm.
There you go. One brings back to you, bro.
You've just had the opportunity to come back to America for JCW.
Yes.
What was that like? And
Well,
obviously, that tournament is one that happens every year.
mhm.
Tournaments seem to be your thing at the moment.
Yeah, I like a good tournament. A decent success rate of late. Obviously, we've had the Trios Grand Prix tournament. Myself and the CPF boys, we were the inaugural winners of that, which led to me getting my cruiserweight championship. But on to this week, I have JCW combining with GCW for the Jersey J Cup. Very prestigious independent wrestling tournament. Some of the the absolute top cruiserweights have performed in that tournament. So to have my name on the list as a performer in that tournament is incredible, but to put my name as a winner in that tournament would be even better.
Awesome, man. I mean,
Mhm.
who are you most looking forward to facing off?
So I've got an opening scramble match, so that's pretty exciting. But if I can get through that, I'd love to mix it up with either KJ Orso, that would be awesome, formerly known as Fuego del Sol. Um, Jordan Oliver, that'll be a pretty sweet one. Or even a fellow Brit, man like Darius is in the tournament. I'd like to mix it up with Darius one-on-one. We never got a chance to do that.
Nice. That'll be a good match.
Mhm. For sure.
So, I want to talk obviously about your in-ring style. Is that something you've always wanted to do, or has it adapted over time?
Yeah, I've always connected with the high flying wrestling. My someone who really grabbed my attention when I first started watching wrestling was the 2011 was the time period. So it was like Kofi Kingston, Sin Cara, maybe even Evan Bourne, I think might have been around at the time. Um, yeah, and then obviously discovering independent wrestling and guys like Will Ospreay and Mark Andrews absolutely blew my mind. So it's definitely the style I've always been attracted to. And thankfully, I'm not too bad at it myself.
I just want to say, by the way, it's my favorite in-ring style.
Same, brother. Let's go.
High,
Absolutely. One
high flying and tag team. That's mine.
Yeah, see, that's my forte. We're talking my language now.
Definitely, man. Onto that, who would you say is the top three high flyers of all time and the top three tag teams of all time?
Oh, dear Lord. Well, high flyers straight off the bat, it's got to be Rey Mysterio.
Yep.
You know, an absolute legend, and to be, is he around 50 now? And he's
Not
still,
far.
yeah, he's still pulling out incredible feats. He hasn't slowed down at all. So Rey Mysterio, I'd have to say number one, definitely at the top. If we're talking about iconic high flyers, Jeff Hardy. You know, he's someone who really popularized the style. Yeah, Jeff Hardy's definitely there. And three, I'm going to go with Will. That's more of a personal one to me. I think Will's incredible. And he's someone who's revolutionized the style, especially in the modern era. And then tag teams, again, Hardy Boys, got to be at the top. I'm a big fan of Paul London and Brian Kendrick, so I'm going to have to put them in there too.
Okay.
We'll go with the New Day as well. I like the New Day.
Okay, different.
Mhm.
I like that.
Especially the Paul London one. Not many people say that one. And do you know what? I'm actually a massive fan of those.
Yeah, they're fantastic. They need their flowers.
I've been very fortunate to have met Paul London, and he's a very nice guy.
Oh, that is wicked. I think I might have briefly bumped into him, but I've never got the chance to actually sit down and chat with him. So yeah, that's pretty cool.
Met him in Stevenage, so that's quite good.
Was that Southside?
Yeah,
Yeah, okay.
Southside. What a promotion! What a promotion!
I miss him.
Yeah, honestly, even Ben, Harry, and Sarah are incredible.
Yeah, shout out Harry Old.
Yeah, good guy.
Yeah,
Over to you,
yeah.
Liam.
Absolutely. So, is it hard being a wrestling fan now? You're involved in wrestling.
Yeah. I've almost as soon as you start wrestling and start to understand it from a different perspective, is you watch it really differently. And especially being like now I'm wrestling every single weekend. So it's hard to keep up with all the wrestling around. So I don't watch anything religiously. I keep my eye on social media and bits, but I don't consistently sit down and watch shows. So yeah, it's definitely hard to be a fan now that I'm, involved in the game.
Involved in the game. I love that answer. Wombeezy, back to you, bro.
So, what would you say the end goal is for you, Joe?
For me, I've always envisioned myself wrestling on TV. That is the end goal for me. To give you like three of my biggest goals, it would be to wrestle on TV consistently, to be in a video game, and to have an action figure. So as long as those three things happen, I'm going to be a very happy man.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, we all want a figure of ourselves, don't we?
Right? I think that's pretty badass.
Definitely. Interesting.
I love the video game one. That's interesting.
I think everything I loved about my favorite wrestlers or just wrestling when growing up, I've always envisioned myself being in that position one day. So I love the video games, I love the action figures, and obviously I'd love to watch my favorites on TV. So if I could accomplish any of those three things or all three, then yeah, that's amazing.
Really, man. That's incredible.
Absolutely. So, how do you get yourself in the zone before you go out and perform?
That's a hard one. I don't think there's anything in particular that I do. If it's perhaps a bigger match, I'll get those, a really strong feeling of butterflies in my stomach. I get nervous before the majority of my matches, but especially if it's a bigger match. So the kind of a wave of adrenaline might hit me, before going out the curtain. But most of the time, as the music starts to play or as I step out, then the adrenaline will just hit me, and it's kind of like I'm just on autopilot from that point, and I'm in the zone.
Absolutely. I've got a follow-up question to that. Let's turn that question 180. How do you wind down after a match?
That's a good question.
TikTok.
No. I don't know. I think as soon as you take the gear off, you kind of start to wind down. I usually don't like to stay in my gear for too long after a match, just because I'm all sweaty. I'd rather get out of it, be clean, sell some merch. And sometimes as the adrenaline wears off, you start to feel the bumps and bruises from the match you just had. So that's certainly yeah, that's a wake up call, back to reality, so to speak.
Okay. Well, Brady, back to you, bro.
What age did you know that you wanted to become a professional wrestler, like, and make it like a living?
So I got into wrestling when I was 11, and I'd say definitely by 12, I knew that was what I wanted to do.
Okay. What did your parents like think of the idea when you told them?
I they were never not supportive. I'll say that. But they definitely viewed it more as a weekend hobby. So they were more than happy, to drive me to training for my first few months. Allow me to train in wrestling. Like, for sure, follow your dreams. They were supportive in that aspect. Then when I started to get on shows, especially after doing shows for like a few years, and it still hadn't really gone anywhere. This is my 9th year in wrestling now, and only the past maybe 3 years is where it's really started to take off. So for those first 6, they definitely viewed it as a weekend hobby, and they would quite often call it that. But as I say, in kind of the past 3 years, it started to take off a bit more, and their opinions and their views have definitely changed. And recently, they said they feel like confident and comfortable in the position I'm at and where I'm going in life. So that was really nice to hear.
Yeah, and that's good that you got like a supporting network as well.
Yes, yeah. Network all around me is fantastic. From family, loved ones, friends, everything. Yeah, really supportive.
Awesome, man. Over to you.
So does a man like Joe Lando get his time to himself?
Yeah, I do. I do. Um, it's a weird one though. I thought leaving work, quitting my job just to go full time in wrestling would open up a lot more free time for me. But I'd say it's probably the opposite because now I have all this time off. Everyone just wants to, meet up with me. So it's kind of like I don't really have much time to myself. But every now and then I will. I think the most time I probably get to myself is on the flights overseas when I'm just sat in a seat, just listening to music and in my own thoughts.
Okay. I've got to ask, what type of music?
Oh man, I like all sorts of music. I'd say definitely over the past maybe 2 years, kind of like hip hop and rap has taken over my playlist. Um, but I grew up on like British indie rocks like Arctic Monkeys, The Kooks. Love all that stuff. And I love pop punk as well. I have a neck deep tattoo on me. So I
Now we're
really like
talking.
all sorts. Yeah, I love all sorts of music. But yeah.
We will just ignore the fact you named Arctic Monkeys then, yeah?
Yeah, I would say they're my favorite band of all time.
From Sheffield, so I know
They are indeed. They are indeed.
There you go.
where I'm from.
From Breezy, back to you, bro.
So just a question, Joe. Obviously, you're the cruiserweight champion of RevPro
Yes.
now.
Yes.
Would you say by the end of this year or pushing 2027, you want to be hitting for the World Heavyweight Championship? Is that something that is on the caliber for you?
Uh, if weight limits don't define it, then I don't see why not, man. Um, yeah, it's my mission to to rise to the top of whatever I'm doing in wrestling, whether it's the independents or something above that. My eyes are definitely on a cruiserweight focus. But if weight limits aren't defining it, then I don't see why not. I can take the world heavyweight championship for Rev Pro, and carry on with my cruiserweight style, and push that to the main event spot of the card.
Hmm. Just a little follow on that is, and if you do decide to do that and hopefully you win it, would you
Mhm.
like to take it around the world with you and defend it like a world
Yeah.
champion?
Yes. I mean that's what I'm doing with the undisputed British Cruiserweight
Yeah.
Championship at the moment. I've had 2 successful defenses so far in Canada. First time ever in Canada. Maybe first time abroad outside of the UK. I'm not sure. You'd have to fact check me on that. Um, but yeah, my favorite part of the job is traveling to new places or just traveling all around the world in general. So if I have a championship on my shoulder, and I can promote RevPro, promote myself, get to travel even more and defend that title, then I'm all for it.
Definitely, man. That'll be good.
Hmm.
Absolutely. So, throughout obviously your whole career, what's the best piece of advice you've been given?
Oh wow. That's hard to say. I don't think there's a piece of advice that immediately sticks out to me. No, I don't have an answer for that one, unfortunately. I'm sorry.
Okay. Wombeezy, over to you.
What would you say is the most rewarding thing about being a professional wrestler?
Ah, man. Um, I've mentioned it before that, I think back to when I was, a teenager, a kid, first getting into wrestling. And the most rewarding part for me now is kind of like ticking off all the goals that that kid had. I often think if I can go back in time as myself now and speak to former me, then former me would be very happy. So that for me is really cool.
Awesome.
Okay. So, obviously, with the high flying style comes obviously risk and stuff like that. Have you had many injuries?
Yeah, I've had a few. Yeah. My first main injury in wrestling, I snapped my forearm. I was falling off the ropes in a match, so I had to have surgery on that. Um, I've broken my ankle as well. Thankfully, no surgery for that one. But again, that was flipping off the ropes. Um, I've been concussed and knocked out pretty bad. Again from flipping off the ropes. So, my
There's a
style
common
is
theme here.
certainly, yeah. It's certainly high risk. But if you look at all the times I flip off the rope and I'm successful, the success rate is higher than the fail rate. But when I do fail, it can hit quite hard.
Absolutely. Well, what's the longest you've been out of the ring, obviously, due to injury?
I've been real thankful that even with when I snapped my forearm and I needed surgery, it kept me out 1 day short of 2 months from the actual time I broke it, not even from the surgery. Um, Same with the ankle break, that was maybe a month and a half, and then concussions. Usually, I only take a week off, but I probably should be a bit longer. So yeah, so thankfully, despite breaks and surgeries, I've never had longer than 2 months off.
Okay. Wombeezy,
Mm.
back to you, bro.
Will Ospreay obviously went from 2016 to New Japan Pro Wrestling, and then from
Hmm.
2016 all the way till 2023, 2024. And conquered in New Japan. Callum Newman is following in his footsteps. Is that
Yes.
something that you would want to do as well? Like New Japan, is that on your radar?
Absolutely. I've mentioned it before. I've had the honor of wrestling in Japan a few times. I think I've been there 4 times now, which is really cool. And I just love Japan as a country, right? Um, but I've never got to work for New Japan on Japanese soil. Me and Danny did the Royal Quest show in the UK. Um, so I'd definitely like to explore New Japan a lot more. And we have a close personal friend in Callum Newman there, and I love the stuff he's doing at the moment. Makes us all very proud. So one day if we could join him there, then it's game on.
United Empire.
Yeah, you know it. Who knows?
That'll be good. That would be
Well,
good.
I'd
Hmm.
definitely like to see that stuff like that. So, we've not talked obviously about the fan base. How would you describe the Rev Pro fan base in your own words?
Um, I often think about this a lot. They're very loyal. It's incredible the amount they can get invested in storylines, and the same fans that you continuously see at each Ref Pro show, despite them running in London, Sheffield, Coventry, Southampton, all over the place. Yet, as a lot of the time, you see that the same crop of fans, and they're really invested in the storylines, and they know everything that's going on, often better than myself, and I'm on the roster. Yeah, so the Rev Pro fan base is super loyal, and I think that's incredible because we're only an independent promotion. We're not on TV, nothing like that. So, for fans to follow it that religiously is, yeah, really touching, and it shows that they're super loyal.
Absolutely. Wombeezy, up to you, bro.
Who would you say from the British wrestling scene, male and female, or wants to watch for 2026?
Well, I just keep your eyes on RevPro because they have, the best eyes to scout talent. One of my personal favorites, we mentioned before, Nino Bryant. Um, he recently wrestled Ricochet, so that's someone, from the next level. And he did not look, a step out of place. He was phenomenal. Um, Obviously, the former cruiserweight champion, and he's on to great things. So I think Nino, on a top spot in any promotion, he would he would blend in, perfectly. And with AEW coming to town in the summer, I'd love for him to get a spot there. Same with someone like Connor Mills. Both of those insane talents. And in terms of the females, I am a big fan of Hyperactive. I think both, singles or tag team, both Sapphire and Anita are incredible. So yeah, they're definitely ones to watch. But if you have your eye on the UK scene, you definitely already know all of those people.
Most definitely. That is really good. Some
Mhm.
picks that will definitely kill it in 2026.
For sure.
The other one I thought was Young Guns, Ethan Allen and Luke Jacobs.
Yeah. There's a lot of history between the Young Guns and, myself and CPF. But credit where credit's due, they are phenomenal. So yeah, they're definitely ones to watch if you're not already watching them.
Absolutely. So for fans, obviously, of Joe Lando, what do they not know about you?
Um,
Trying to think what to say now.
Yeah, what do I expose myself here with? I don't know. Maybe I'm an extremely picky eater, and I hate cheese. I can't stand cheese. So there's some Joe Lando lore if you didn't know that.
Not even cheese strings.
Not even cheese strings, nothing. Well, in recent years, I've been able to stomach it on a pizza, but before that, I didn't even have pizza. Yeah,
Yeah. Baby bells?
no, disgusting.
We're 27 minutes in and we're on about cheese.
You asked for an unknown fact, and I'm giving exclusives here. You should be grateful.
That's wow.
Oh dear, what breeze is taken away?
Who haven't you faced yet? Whether that's on the independent scene in the UK or abroad, you want to face?
One name immediately pops to mind, and I'm talking about one-on-one. Kid Lycos 2. We have never wrestled in a one-on-one setting, and I would love to wrestle Kid Lycos 2 or Kid Lycos the original. We've never met one-on-one. So those are definitely two people I'd love to mix it up with. They've started recently doing things at RevPro again in the past maybe 6 months. So it's definitely a possibility.
Hopefully, it happens in 2026.
Yeah, I hope to see it.
Absolutely. I mean, the thing is, obviously, Joe, I mean, you've done RevPro, you've done Progress. I mean, is there any promotions you'd like to get to?
Yeah. I'd love to wrestle for absolutely every promotion I can. In terms of some of like the more top ones that I haven't done yet, I've never done OTT. I would love to wrestle for OTT. ICW as well. That would be fantastic. And around Europe, I'd say WXW. They're one of the big ones that I've never got to do. But maybe something's in the works. So keep your eyes peeled.
Interesting. 16 carat.
Hey, I'd love to.
That'd be good. That'd be good.
One breezy, but take it away.
So you said you've done 15 countries. Where haven't you wrestled yet that you would like to? You're trying to think of countries now.
I am. Well, I was having the same chat with Maverick Mayhew just a couple days ago. We really want to do Poland. We've never wrestled in Poland. They have prime time wrestling out there, so there's another one that I'd like to do. Poland would be wicked. I think Mexico would be pretty cool. Obviously,
Okay.
yeah, like wrestling's really popular and famous in Mexico, so to kind of experience some of that would be cool. We got to tag with Blue Panther not too long ago, last summer. We've mixed it up with Ultimo Guerrero too. So there's a couple links. Maybe Mexico would be nice.
Okay. Awesome.
That's pretty interesting stuff. Like that. I mean, like I said, mate, you've done so much now. I mean, what's the goal, obviously, for the rest of the year?
The goal for the rest of the year is just to make this year better than last. More matches, more promotions, more championships, more countries, more travel, everything. As long as I can statistically top what I did last year, then yeah, I'm very happy.
Okay. Wombeezy?
Is there any advice you would give anyone that wants to get into wrestling?
Yeah, I get this question a lot. I've done numerous TikToks on it. But I think it's one question that I always get about new people wanting to try wrestling. Um, and then, there's nothing too complex I can say outside of just make that jump, take that step. And, if you're not sure how to get into wrestling, you can literally Google wrestling schools near me or wrestling schools near insert city that you're close to. Um, and just accept that it's going to be the hardest thing you've ever done in your life. It's not going to be easy. You'll definitely have those days where you doubt yourself and you feel like maybe wrestling isn't for me. But the ones that stick with it, the ones that push through that, are the ones that can end up being successful.
Definitely, man. But a good bit of advice there.
Thank you.
Absolutely, man. So, obviously, we're a big part of wrestling now. Social media is obviously a big thing. But the thing is with social media, obviously, it's got its good points, it's got its bad points. Do you think the good outweighs the bad?
Yeah. Speaking obviously from my experience, social media has done nothing but wonders for myself. It's helped boost myself to a completely different fan base, a much wider and bigger fan base. It's got me to Japan. It's got me all over the world. So yeah, my experience with social media has been very positive. Obviously, there's a negative side to it, and I think that's, if anything, brought more on by the fans, or maybe not so much fans, but the people outside of wrestling. But for as a wrestler myself and being inside the business, social media has been very good to me.
Okay. Wombeezy?
Awesome. Just to follow up on that, when you mentioned obviously social media has done good for you, or whether that's Facebook, X, Instagram, when someone's reaching out to you, like whether that's a promoter or a company, do you like at first are you a bit wary on it?
Skeptical.
Like you first, skeptical, like Japan. Or when they first reached out, was you like, is this real? Is it not?
No, because it was Shima that first reached out to me, and I'm a fan of Shima. I'm a fan of his work. So I very much knew who he was. He's someone that first brought our Pac or Neville to Japan. He brought our Matt Sydal to Japan, Ricochet to Japan. So he's got his eye on young high flyers. So when he messaged me, it was kind of an honor to almost be in with that crew in terms of people he scouted for Japan. So yeah, I think with a lot of the bookings I get through social media, you can always click on the profile, and if they've got that blue tick, it's legit.
Yeah, fair enough.
There you go, stuff like that. I mean, what shows have you got coming up, man?
So I've got the Jersey J Cup this Friday and Saturday. And then I've got on the Sunday, I've got another show called GCW. Nothing to do with Game Changer. It's actually back in Canada. Obviously, I'm taking a quick break to go to New Jersey, then I'm hopping back to Canada. And then next week I'll fly back to the UK, where I will wrestle for Ignite. I think that's Sunday, the 15th of February. I might be wrong with the date there. It's around that. Where myself and Danny, CPF, are tagging for the first time since December, and we are taking on the First Class Flyers. So I'm looking forward to that one, yeah.
Absolutely. So what we'll do is we'll put all links in the description so people can jump to that. Go and support you, man. Is that all right?
Yeah, that sounds great to me.
Awesome. Wombeezy?
So one thing what we like to the final few questions we like to wrap it up with. I always like to ask people who's their Mount Rushmore of professional wrestling.
Oh wow. You make it. I don't want to have too much dead air on this when I'm thinking. Two names immediately spring to mind. Um, oh no, actually, you know, I've got it. I've got it. It's a very random bunch of people, I'd say. But I've got my Mount Rushmore. I'll go with. I'll have the first two. My childhood favorites in CM Punk and Daniel Bryan.
Okay.
CM Punk was the first guy that I like really connected to. Um, I can't quite explain why. I think maybe because his look was different, and I just, I just enjoyed it. You know, he was calling himself the best in the world. He was in that main event spot, winning the title, and I was just a big fan of him. And Daniel Bryan, he got to that main event spot, but he was always, a smaller guy.
Underdog.
I think he's only an underdog. Yeah, I think he's only 5'8". So seeing Daniel Bryan on his like build up and run to WrestleMania 30. I think that was 2014. That was what, I wanted to be a wrestler at that point, but that was what really made me feel like, yeah, I can be a wrestler because, he was, a smaller guy. And then the next two on my Mount Rushmore are my personal influences on my style. One being Will Ospreay, the other being Amazing Red. So those four.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Wow,
pretty good.
I've not heard that name in years. Amazing Red.
Oh, he's phenomenal. He's I think we're pretty much the same size and build, and he's someone who's revolutionized the the cruiserweight style. Yeah, he's really
Still
cool.
going as well.
He is
Mm.
indeed. Yeah, I'd love to mix up with him one day.
Who knows?
House of Glory, isn't it? I believe.
Yeah.
That's another place you'd want to go.
Yes, definitely. Yeah, House of Glory. Add it to the list.
Yeah.
Oh dear. No further questions from me, Wombeezy.
So we always like to be positive. What's an inspirational message from Joe Lando?
Oh, an inspirational wrestler for me. Do I don't know. This is hard. You already put me on the spot here. I don't
What can I say?
yeah, I haven't come prepared. I don't know. Well, I like to the past couple of years I've really been practicing like positivity. If you do positive things, you will get positive things back. So maybe that's not like a message, so to speak, but it's more advice. If you try to be a better person each day and do put positive energy into the universe, you will get positive energy back and you'll feel a lot better and good things will happen.
I like that.
hmm
I like that. Where can people find you, mate?
I am at Just Joe Lando on everything, mate. That is JustJoeLando. Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. I don't have a Facebook. YouTube, Joe Lando Wrestler. I'm posting on at least one of those social medias every day. Yeah.
Awesome. Do you want to wrap it up, Wim?
Absolutely. So, one thing we always like to do, obviously, on the show as well, is every guest we interview gets to do the outro for this show. So you can say anything you want, you can do anything you want, and we'll end the stream. Joe, take it away.
Okay. Thank you very much for watching the Steez on bodyslam.net. I've had an amazing time today. I'm currently in Canada on my Canadian tour, so be sure to check out my social media at Just Joe Lando to keep up to date with everything I'm doing. And that's about it from me. Bash.